Hello, I'm Andy, and today I want to talk about a British team card, Faster Building Houses, which reduces the building time of your and your teammates' houses by 90%. How much value are you generating for each house you build, and who benefits the most from this team card? And lastly, how does this card compare to Virginia Company, which reduces the cost of your houses by 35%? So let's get started. How does this card give you value anyway? There are two main ways this card is giving you value. The first way is that your villager is spending less time building the house and he can go back to work sooner. So for example, he can go back hunting faster. The second way is because the house is built faster, it can generate resources earlier. So that means, for example, for Britons, they spawn an extra villager which can start working sooner, the sooner the house is finished. Or for Inca, the house can gather resources sooner, because it is sooner finished. The way I approach this question is, first I want to see how much value can I theoretically get if I could reduce the build time of a house to 0. So to visualize the scenario, you could just start a game and type in speed always wins. By doing this, your build time is practically 0. Let's take a deeper look at how this card affects an Incan player. A Kancha house takes 15 seconds to build. If the house is built immediately, your construction worker can go hunt for 15 seconds, and also your Kancha house can generate food for 15 seconds. So if you put those values in our formula, we can see that the maximum potential value for building a Kancha house is 21.6 food. But because the card only reduces the building time of the house by 90% and not by 100%, we have to multiply this value by 0.9. That means practically if you have a British teammate as the Inca and he sends the team Faster Building House card, you get around 19.44 food for each house you build. Now that we've established our methodology, let's look at some other houses. In this case, I want to look at generic houses, Inca houses, British manor houses, Swedish torps and Japanese shrines. For shrines, I assumed that you use your monks to build them around 4 hunts. For torps, I assumed that you just build them near a mine. If you want to see the raw data, just pause when the next diagram shows. First, I want to see how much value you get when you build one house, and how both value components contribute to the total value. The more significant component is the component where your villager spends less time building the house and can go back sooner to work. This is because a villager gather rate is typically higher than a gather rate of a house building. This interestingly means that your Japanese allies are benefiting less from that card than a generic civilization like Spain. This is because you're not using a villager to build shrines, but you use your monks to build the shrines. British are also benefiting the most from this card. This is because their build time of the house is the longest and their houses also spawn a villager. And we already established that a villager has a higher gather rate than other generating houses. To put it into numbers, for each house you build as a Briton, you get around 30 food, and for each house you build as Sweden or Inca, you get around 20 food. Generic civilizations get less than 10 food per house they build. Now to answer the next question, how many resources do you save when you have to build all houses? Typically you have to build one house before sending this card. So that means for Inca you still need to build 12 houses, and for all other civilizations which I look at, you still need to build 19 houses. So when using this card as the Britons and you houseboom fully to 20 houses, you have around 600 more resources. For Sweden you have around 400 more resources, and for Inca you have around 250 more resources. Now let's quickly compare the Faster Building Houses to Virginia Company. If you use the extra villager seconds you get by faster house building to chop wood, and you don't have any upgrades, you can chop 18 extra wood for each house you build after sending this card. Virginia Company saves you 38 wood per house you build. That means for a full house boom, when you build 19 extra houses, with Faster Building Houses you will have 342 extra wood, and with Virginia Company you will have 722 extra wood. Which means in a 1-on-1 situation, Virginia Company is giving you roughly double the value than Faster Building Houses. Let's summarize the main findings of this video. Britons do benefit the most from Faster Building Houses, followed by Sweden and then Inca. To put it into numbers, for each house you build as the Britons, you will have around 30 extra resources, and for each house you build as Inca or Sweden, you will have around 20 extra resources. In a 1-on-1 situation, Virginia Company is strictly better than Faster Building Houses, giving almost double the value. For team games, faster building houses might be a consideration if you're teamed up with another British player or with a Sweden or an Inca player. This also marks the end of this video. At this point I want to thank Vitor CXB who sparked my interest into this card. What cards are you interested in? Let me know in the comments. I still do have some on my list, so for example the 7 Lucky Gods card of Japanese, but I don't have an idea how to approach it yet. But eventually at some point I will have covered all cards, so stay tuned for that. Thanks for watching, have a good day and see you guys around. Bye bye!